To add new guests to the database, the first thing we need to do is read them from the UI. In the main activity, declare two edit text fields to point to the UI, one for the guest name and another for the party size. Then inside onCreate, we use findViewById to get the reference to those edit text fields. The guest name edit text is defined in the UI XML as person_name_edit text, and the party size is defined as party_count_edit_text. Now that we have a reference to both of them, let's scroll down to Add to Waitlist that's linked from the Add Guest button. First, we'll check that both have text in them. Otherwise, we don't need to do anything. Then we'll declare an integer for the party size and initialize it with 1. We need to parse the text in mNewPartySize edit text into an integer, so we'll use integer.parseInt and pass in the result of getText to string to our variable. To prevent an unexpected parse error, we can wrap this in a try-catch block. So let's now insert those values into our database. To make our code more modular, we'll create a method that will handle adding any new guests into the database and call it here. Let's call that method addNewGuest, and it will take the guest name and party size as parameters. To insert data into the database, we need to use a content values object that maps column names as a key to the desired values. Let's call it CV. Then we can add our values using the put method. The first parameter is the column name, and we can get that from the contract. The second parameter is the value. Now that we have our content value object ready, we can call insert passing in the table name and the content values object. This will insert a new row in the table with the values specified in CV. Notice that we didn't insert any IDs. That's because in our SQL create statement, shown here, we declared the ID column to be auto increment, which means every time you insert a new row, it'll automatically add one to the previous ID and use that as the new ID. dbinsert returns that new ID that was generated, so we'll return that as well as the output of our addNewGuest method. We need that reference to be able to delete it from the database later. Finally, head back to Add to Waitlist and call addNewGuest and pass through the guest name and party size. We're almost there. If we run this right now, it will successfully insert new guests into the database, but we won't see them appear in the recycler view. That's because our adapter is still using the old cursor with the old query result that doesn't include the new guest.